Telecom centers are now a beehive of activities, and the reason is very simple. We hear that more than 70 million SIM card subscribers have been barred from making outgoing calls, and this is consequent upon their failure to comply with federal government's directive to link their SIM cards to their national identification number NIN. Now, in an earlier conversation, one of the telecom operators revealed that following the expiration of the deadline on April 4, the centers have been besieged by subscribers wishing to conduct several transactions, and of course, ranging from obtaining a NIN, capturing of biometrics, verification of NIN, registration and linkage of SIM to NIN, and so on and so forth. Now, besides the large crowd, there is also the problem associated with delays from back-end system operation and reconciliation of details. So, how is NIMC and partners addressing those issues? Now, recall also that the issue of NIMC and National Identification Number registration have been on since, since 2012. And at the height of the insecurity in parts of the country, mobile phones were mainly used to contact families of kidnapped victims and, of course, requests for ransom. The intelligence reports reveals that SIM-NIN linkage was one approach to check insecurity. And we hear also that progress have been gradual but steady in this regard since the linkage began in December 2020. But what other public interest does this policy seem to address? What are the gray areas? So in late edition this week, we focus on issues around the SIM-NIN linkage. I am Claire Adelabu Abdulrazak. Thank you for joining me. Engineer Aliyu Aziz is an information technology expert. He has more than 30 years of post-qualification experience in engineering and information technology, covering the private and public sectors. He holds a degree in civil engineering and a master's in structural engineering with specialty in computer-aided design from the prestigious Ahmadu Bello University, ABU, in Zaria. Now, before he joined the NIMC, Engineer Aziz was the Information Technology Advisor to the Minister, Federal Capital Territory Administration, and there he pioneered the implementation of the first e-government solution that won a Microsoft Award in 2006. He also served as the Subcommittee Technical Chairman on the Presidential Committee on Harmonization of ICT, which resulted in the formation of Galaxy Backbone. Now, Engineer Aziz was also the Deputy Director, Information Technology at the Bureau of Public Enterprises and Principal Consultant, Management Information System, MIS Department, that's at the AFRI Project Consortium. He was a Director of the Secretariat of the Presidential Implementation Committee in the SGF's office, saddled with responsibilities for implementing government's decisions on consumer credit system, national outsourcing initiative, and harmonization of identification schemes in Nigeria. Now, of course, Engineer Aziz is a member of many professional bodies, including the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and now serves as the Director General and Chief Executive Officer of National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. My second guest is Adeleke Adewolu, who is a legal practitioner, a barrister and solicitor of the Supreme Court of Nigeria and solicitor of the Supreme Court of England and Wales. He is an alumnus of the University of Ife, now known as Obafemi Awolowo University, and was called to the Nigerian Bar in 1986. He served as State Commissioner for Special Duties and Intergovernmental Affairs in Ogun State, and was also a Special Advisor, Research and Documentation. Barrister Adewolu was a Special Assistant on Legal and Legislative Matters to the Senate President at the National Assembly, Technology ICT, and served as liaison with the National Economic Council, NEC, Nigerian Governors Forum, NGF, Progressive Governors Forum, and as Ogun State Commissioner for Special Duties, he managed implementation and performance monitoring of the French Development Agency, AFD, funded Ogun Water Sector Reform Project. Now, in his capacity as the state focal person for the federal government Nigeria's Social Investment Program, SIPs, he coordinated, mobilized resources, and managed stakeholder relationships with partner institutions, and of course engaged over 2,000 women as food vendors under the homegrown school feeding program venture. Now, Barrister Adeleke Adewolu currently serves as Executive Commissioner of the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and also for the stakeholder management. So, do join me as I welcome both gentlemen on the edition this week. Thank you very much for joining me on the program. You see, as I was reading out your bios, you know, so I had to start, you know, cutting them down, you know, so that we don't exhaust the 1 hour we have on the program. Anyway, both of you, thank you very much for joining me. Let me quickly start off, yes, with the DJ and CEO of NIMC. Yes, I would like for you to give us an update of what's happening at the moment, and that's between April 4, when the deadline for compliance, you know, to link SIM to NIN elapsed, and now.
Well, as of 4th April, we have enrolled more than 78 million NINs that are unique, and what we understand is that most people, like me and you, we have more than one phone. Like myself, I have about 4 phones, so I have linked 4 of my phones with one NIN. So, and as of that time also, we have more than 15,000 centers across the country. And before that time, people were not trooping to our centers for enrollment, but immediately after the 4th, then we have a influx of people coming to the centers, to both NIMC centers, that of the private sector, and also that of the telecom operators. And there are various type of reasons that brings people, and majority of people wanted to find their NIN, which they can extract using the *346 hash, and some of them found out that their NIN is BVN linked NIN, that they need to update the data, and then some have found out that their NIN is not on the verification portal, so they need to contact NIMC to update that information. And so there is a lot of influx of people across the country, and there are others that did not obtain the SIM by themselves, because earlier on there has been a SIM register that the telcos always compare with the information from the NIN, and they found out that they need to also go to the telcos to do the registration. Meanwhile, it is not a SIM, it's not a NIN problem, but they have to register with the telcos. So there are myriads of problems, but we are all up and running with the telcos and also the NIMC and also the private, more than 200 private sector that we engage that has been working on that.
So the compulsion has, sparked off other activities, other,
Exactly.
It has pushed more Nigerians to do the needful.
Yeah.
Both SIM registration,
yeah.
Getting your details right and all that. But has that deadline, this implementation of, the bearing of course, has it increased, has it driven up the number of, SIMs registered or NIN, those registered for NIM from the 78 million that we talked with?
Yeah, between that time and now we have new people that enroll are more than 2 million. So we are on top of the 80 million mark. But there are more that have done the SIM registration, which my colleague will answer. And also that, the deadline creates some inconvenience of making calls. Though people can still send texts, people can still do WhatsApp, or and their data is still running, but that inconvenience of that I want to talk to the person is still there, and the rule just says that come and link your data, your SIM with your link. Then the telcos would then unbar the phone.
I know Barrister Adewolu is here in different capacities, both as represented NCC and the telecoms. So it's been one stroke, hitting many services for you.
Thank you, Claire, and I think good afternoon to our viewers. When you say one stroke hitting many services, well, I think telecoms, and I think particularly the COVID-19 pandemic, when we went into lockdown, I think really brought this to the fore and to the national vision. Telecoms underlines so many things. And as you know, the federal government announced in 2019 a policy on digital economy. And you'll find that the strategy to implement that policy has really brought telecommunications to be central in our daily life as we develop the digital economy. So you're correct. Where people have a SIM, that SIM, unlike maybe 20 years ago, when you had a telephone line which was fixed and you could just use it to call people. Nowadays, a SIM card is central to a lot of daily activities. People use it to make calls, they use it to access the internet, they use it for their financial services. So it's like almost like a gateway to modern day of life and living in a digital economy. So while we appreciate everybody who has made the effort, and a large number of Nigerians, I think at the last count, over 143 million Nigerians, or subscribers, because telecom, we have individual subscribers, have made the efforts to submit the national identity number to the mobile network operator for it to be validated, verified, and linked to their SIM card records. I'm happy to say that when we had to bring in measures, the federal government gave a directive that from the 4th of April, those people who hadn't been able to link their NIN with their SIM should be kind of given an action which would kind of like giving them a prompt. And the federal government looked at this and thought, because we know that SIM card is central to so many other things individuals do, what will I call the prod to kindly comply with the federal government's directive to link your NIN to your SIM should be done in such a way as to always appreciate that people also have other usages from the SIM. So it's kind of like a balancing act. And we felt, well, the least painful way of doing this would be if we reduce their ability to make outgoing calls. However, you don't make the person totally uncontactable because they are still able to receive calls. They are still able to send out SMS messages. They are still able to access the internet. They are still able to use data services.
So it's only the person-to-person call.
That's right.
That is denied. But how has this directive, SIM NIN linkage, affected SIM registration? SIM card registration, because a lot of people just buy SIM cards off the streets and don't even bother to do their registration, despite your several pleas to them to do it. So how has this, been, I don't know, how has it affected, registration of SIM cards? Has it paid off?
Well, I think you'll find that as we develop our digital economy and telecoms and the ability to access services, digital services, becomes so much part of our life, it becomes more and more important that if you are interacting with an entity online, you have some comfort that the person you are interacting with is who they claim to be. And I think we need to look at this, that this exercise, whereby the federal government has asked us to ensure that everybody who is using a SIM card, which then enables them to access mobile networks, and also enables them to access so many other things, has, first of all, had their identity captured into the National Identity Database by NIMC. So that when mobile network operators are then
this wasn't a requirement. Before now, it wasn't a requirement for SIM card registration.
Well, it wasn't a requirement for SIM card registration until I think about 6 years ago. But definitely there have been regulations made by the Nigerian Identity Management Commission and the federal government making it mandatory for you to obtain and present a national identity number before you can access several government services. So
the policy has been beneficial to both telecom subscribers and in terms of registration of SIM. Yeah, because for now, for you to link, you must register your SIM card.
You must.
So it's been a win-win thing for both partners. Exactly. Okay, let me bring in the DG, because the last time, again, we had, we engaged on this issue. Both of you were on set. And I know that one of the telecom operators, appeared to have been overwhelmed, considering his contributions at the time. And from him, it was a tale of, overcrowded centers, to the extent that some subscribers even come with their mats and ports, in the event that they could slip over to get, their transactions done. DG, how are we coping with this?
Well, as I said earlier, that there's influx of people in the registration centers of the NIMC and the private sector and also the telecom operators, and people come for either fresh registration or they come to revalidate their NIN, or they come for new they want to buy new SIM. And as we have discussed earlier, that the impact on people that want to buy genuinely, that wants to obtain a SIM, is now seamless, that you need to provide your identity before you get the SIM. But for people that wanted to get the SIM just off the street, just like that, then those ones have been blocked for a long time, that you can hardly now get a unregistered SIM on the street, and unless it is an organized crime, then, and in that case the security agencies are having them to run after their own money. So I think there's the pressure. The pressure is there, but it's subsiding. It's not like the first few days, and we believe that within few maybe after the holidays, and again, you know,
what did NIMC do? Because a lot of people, if you consider the amount of yes.
Yeah, you see, we open up even the weekends. Even weekends too, we open up our offices, so we have not been going on leave. And the back end, which is the automated biometric identification system, has been working 24/7 at any time. So that registration can happen even at night.
We have these centers. I was surfing the internet, and a lot of people are complaining. Even, in fact, there was a subscriber based in a state in the southeast. His complaint was that it has taken him more than 6 months to even get his NIN slip, and that he was being told by NIM officials at the particular center in that state that he needed to come to Abuja, you know, to get that. And the young man is frustrated, and it's all over the internet.
Well, the current configuration that we have is that if you enroll now, maximum within 24 hours, you will get the NIN. And why is because of the size of the database that we have. You remember when you enroll, you just enroll and you got the NIN immediately. So at that time the database was small. Now that it's big, we are in the process of expanding it, so it takes that 24 hours. But the policy is that where even in the US, if you enroll for your social security number, you need a week before you get that number. You don't get it immediately. Why? Because it will check the whole of the existing database and then find out that there is no replica like you, and then before it generates the number and sends to you. So what happens that when people mention 6 months is that it must have hit somebody, or it must have resembled somebody, because the machine will not just say that this is duplicate. No, it will say that this number resembles this other information that I've already had in my own database.
Can I shock you, DG?
Yeah.
Can I shock you?
Yeah.
The young man said he was made to pay 3,000 naira. And, you know, as soon as he paid that, he got his number.
Well, in those kind of situation, again, knowing that enrollment and issuance of NIN is free of charge. You understand? Any person that makes payment, then he is corrupting the system. He is contributing. Even if you are even if you are boxed. That is why we have 15,000 centers. If one center demands, you understand, go to another center, because they will not all behave the same. And also report. Just yesterday, I had a report from Zaria, where somebody demanded 1,000 naira, and it is captured on a video. So already the person has been queried, because we follow the process. In 24 hours, he will reply, and then we will call him, because now we are in 21st century. Even the disciplinary committee is a continuous process. Whoever that is at fault will be. So we follow those processes. It's not enough to just say I have to part with this. Then it is your own attitude that you are showing that you parted with your money, because enrollment is free. It's free of charge. If someone asks you for money, report, and also move to another center. You will surely get somebody that will provide you with your service. So anytime that it takes long, it must have hit something. But within 24 hours, you will get that. And in the next maybe 3 months, we will upgrade the system again, go back to where you will instantly get the needs. So.
Thank you. You've just answered the questions I was going to ask you. Just to repeat, the fact that enrollment is free, and if it takes a longer time, it's because it has hit, some form of trouble ahead, and they're trying to resolve that trouble. And then again, yes, and it takes out. Otherwise, within 24 hours, you should get your NIN number. So I think we'll just take a short break, and then when we come back, Barrister Adewolu, you give us your perspectives, and then take some more questions from me. Okay. All right, you're watching Late Edition this week. Then go away. We'll be right back.
You can't fight piracy, you can't fight a war.
Therefore, you don't claim your rights.
The challenge I see is in the fiscal.
Do we have to wait until we have a problem?
See, the problem with those who speak on behalf of themselves and the country is that they should have facts. I'm speaking now as Minister for Transport.
For you to become economically independent, you must have to curtail level of importation of other people's products and services.
How rich you are, you can't bring certain vehicle into the country.
There's no competitiveness within the state.
I am Claire Adilabu AbdulAziz. Thanks for joining me.
This is NTA News 24 broadcasting from Abuja. You can watch us anywhere, anytime on the following platforms.
Start Times, Channel 101, Freak TV, Channel 703, GSTV, Channel 419, and Go TV, Channel 46.
For more information, log on to our website, www.nta.ng, or join us on our social media handles, Facebook at NTA News 24.
For comments, suggestions and inquiries, send an email to news24@nta.gov.ng or call us on the following numbers.
NTA News 24.
News and more news.
Welcome back to Late Edition this week, and we are focusing on issues surrounding the SIM NIN linkage, and I have Engineer Aliyu Aziz, who is the DJ CEO of NIMC, and also the Executive Commissioner of NCC for Stakeholder Management, Barrister Adewolu, also here with me. Gentlemen, once again, thank you for being on the program. Just before we went on break, Barrister Adewolu, you were going to say a few, make 1 or 2 comments about, what the DJ said.
Okay. Yes. Thank you, Claire. I think DJ has summarized a lot of the efforts that NIMC have made. We appreciate that when the deadline was announced on the 4th of April, I think in that week a lot of people had to go to mobile network operators, customer service centers, and NIMC enrollment centers to try and get the issues sorted out. And we saw that a lot of people were going there. But I think NIMC have really opened up more centers. Their staff have been working at weekends around the clock. Behind the scenes, at the back end, there's been a lot of collaboration between mobile network operators and NIMC, particularly on the technical side, to ensure that people's submitted NINs are verified, are validated and verified quickly, so that people can then have their SIMs unblocked. And I think hopefully the huge crowds which you saw have begun to subside, and hopefully after the Easter break, this will begin to thin out.
Or maybe they just got tired, because some of them, describe the process as boring and tedious. Maybe they just got tired and said, let me just go home. But again, within this week, the week of implementation, when the deadline elapsed, we've had a number of subscribers, come out to say that their lines have been blocked. What has happened? Is that the case, or there are probably network challenges?
Now, when you say subscribers' lines are blocked, now, for the purpose of this NIN-SIM harmonization exercise, it is only subscribers who had not obtained and submitted their NIN.
But there are those who, so you can take it along. There are those who claim to have done that, and yet their lines have been blocked, and they have not even received their numbers. So what could have gone wrong?
Well, thank you, Claire. I mean, where such instances have been brought to my attention, we've looked into them, and we've kind of asked mobile network operators to look into and resolve any such issues. The few I've looked at have been cases where people had sent maybe one of the USSD codes which they were provided by to link their SIMs to their NINs. In a number of cases, this may not have been acknowledged. So I believe the mobile network operators tell us that where they have received a NIN, which is valid in the right format, that their systems will send back a confirmatory SMS to the subscriber that we have received your NIN,
and we're working on it.
And we're working on it. Yeah.
For those subscribers, their SIMs will not be blocked.
No, because there's been a confirmation.
Yes, because I've heard within the week a number of subscribers have said, look, in fact, there was a day I was in the market. I was in the market, one of the markets here in Abuja, and about 3 people, they don't block my line, no. They don't block my line. I had to call an official in NIMC, just to aid them, just to find out, okay, what can be done, and they said, please, DJ.
So just as you said that you have been asked to send your NIN to your network provider, and you have done so, and they have gave you a feedback that you have successfully submitted your NIN. Okay, that submission does not mean linkage. Mind you, earlier I told you that there is a register of the SIM. Therefore, the telcos will now check this NIN information, that compare with what they get from NIMC and what they already have. If there's variation, then it is not going to be, it's not linked. So I earlier told you that majority of the time that you on the phone, meanwhile you have asked your driver to go and buy the SIM for you, and you own it and you submit it, and it responds to you, yes, your phone number so submitted this NIN. And when they checked their database, they found out that it's your driver's name and picture that is there. And the NIN that they checked from NIMC, they saw that it is you, the rightful owner. Then it is not linked, because you need to then go to the telcos to now re-register that SIM.
But how will they know? How will the subscribers know that, look, they're having such an issue?
Because we are now in a flux, you will know because your phone is not debarred yet. So when it is bad, you know that these things have not linked. But if they are desynchronized, then they will immediately debar your line. Mind you, the telcos too, because of it's a federal government directives, and mind you, some years back they have been charged huge amounts of money for having unregistered SIM. So they don't want to play with this directive. So in most cases, if your phone is bad and you have submitted and it is still not yet debarred, find out from the telcos. Probably the information is not in sync, and then re-register your line. And if it is NIMC's issues again, then also contact us.
NIMC.
Yes.
Okay. Barrister, I'm wondering again. It appears that from our discussion, I mean, you can tell that those who have used the app to send their whatever NIN, whatever, are having, difficulty getting them, acknowledged and validated. A number of people have claimed that, look, we have done that online, and we have not received any acknowledgement, and their lines have been bad. So obviously, that may not be the best option to, consider. I'm wondering, is there a most efficient way of, for subscribers to send their slips, their NIN slips or NIN numbers?
Well, thank you for this. I think this feedback is very important for us. Now, you remember that there are, I think, 2 or 3 discrete transactions in this process, as DG explained earlier. The first thing is the subscriber needs to send their NIN to the mobile network operator. And various channels have been provided for that. I know that each of the networks has provided various channels, whether through the network apps, through a USSD code. I think most popular ones are the USSD code for each network for people to send their NINs to them.
Very problematic, because you get a lot of, fake, USSD codes, and people, have fallen victims of fraudsters and all that. So.
No, but the telcos always sends you the code to do that. They will send you an SMS that this is the code to use, or you go to their own website. But if you just follow what fraudsters do without checking, then you're on, because every information needs to be clarified. You don't just go to the right website of the telco, or the telco will send you a text messaging, or the advertisement, or whenever you make a call, they will tell you early in the morning, the first call that you do, they will tell you that this is the number to do. Use that particular one. But if you follow internet, what is flying, then you may likely to make mistakes.
DG, this is very important.
Fraudsters are there too.
This is very important, important. And I say this because we assume that everybody who has a phone is literate enough to know which website, is genuine or fake. No, a lot of people have phones, but don't even know what happens, what app to use. So it is for these same people that we want to get their...
Yeah, that is why we said that once you are using your phone, the first thing in the morning you could make a call, then they will tell you, that phone will tell you. That one, there is no fraudster will insert something that they will tell you that this is the number that you should use to then submit your number. That is the clearest one. Okay. But I said for the literate one, you can identify the website. Then also the mobile apps. If you have the NIMC mobile app, then you have followed a process whereby you were authenticated. Then you can use that to send that information, and that information immediately NIMC will send it to the telcos, and the telcos will also do their work and send back to us so that the databases will sync.
Yes, okay.
Exactly. So, sorry, thank you. I just wanted to say, Claire, yes, we picked up some activity of what I would call potential cyber fraudsters. And we've issued advisories to the general public. Just last week when we noticed that people were sending messages around saying they could unlock blocked SIMs, we quickly picked this up and sent out advisories. Again, for those who are not so learned, I think a lot of the sensitization campaign from the MNOs, from NIMC, from NCC have included doing things in local languages, in Pidgin English, to try and sensitize subscribers about the need for them to submit their NIN. So we keep monitoring the situation and we keep trying to adjust to ensure that everybody is aware of their rights and that they have secure channels through which they can. The technical issues you mentioned earlier, it's technology, Claire. We're talking of hundreds of millions of records. It's in the national interest that these records match. Then we can all feel safe. So, of course, whatever will be good, you will have some teething and logistical problems. But we're on top of this. We have technical teams working through the night, meeting every day to identify these issues and to provide solutions to them. We just ask the public to please bear with us as we go through this process. At the end of the day, it's for the benefit of Nigerians.
My next question was actually sent to me by my colleague. And he said some affected subscribers without NIN alleged to have resorted to using those of their families or friends or family members to reconnect the SIM. Is that really possible? If so, what are the dangers?
If you use
your friends or
your friends' NIN, then they
reconnect.
No, if the SIM register already has your own NIN, and now you are using somebody else's NIN to connect, then they say disconnect. It may not. The telcos will not debar your line. Wherever they do that, it's only when you have gone, your friend have gone to re-register the line for you. Then that is possible.
Okay.
But if the friend have not gone to re-register the line and you just collected the person's NIN to do that, then that is fraudulent. And also, even the person himself, you are not supposed to share your NIN with any person. That is where we brought in the tokenization also, so that the NIN is personal, is for only yourself. Just like if I ask you your bank account number or your BVN, you may not likely to give me because you do not know what I may likely to do. So it's very important that we should keep all our numbers to ourselves.
I like you again because we are, the time is fast spent. This tokenization, I know you talked about it in our other program, but can you just spare us some more time, to explain how it works and how it serves this purpose?
Yeah, the tokenization is like if I go to an example, NTA for a service, and you wanted to know my identity, and under normal circumstances I will have issued my NIN to NTA, but because of trust I may not know what my NIN may likely to be used for in future. Then I can use my mobile app and then generate a token, or use the USSD code, generate a token which is the NIN but hidden with code, and then I will issue that to you. I'm confident that even if you want to use that, you can only use it within 72 hours. After that 72 hours, it will then expire. And also at the back end, because we use the modern technology, they call blockchain technology, to hide that information, to make sure that it is also unique then you can also come back and verify that this is the NIN that have done this particular transaction. So simply the tokenization is a way to hide your NIN and be able to facilitate you to carry out transaction, and also it enables for future ways to find out who have done this particular transaction.
And it's legal, but does it also address the issue, the rights issue raised in that conversation about, you know, possibility of SIM theft and cloning of SIM cards?
Of course, of privacy and also theft of personal identity. That is what it addresses. So it comes from the privacy by design, being inclusiveness, and also bringing out all the, taking out all the fraudsters along the path, because it will take them ages before they can replicate those kind of technology.
Apart from the security issue that we hope that this would help us to address, there are also other social services friendly interests that we're looking at. Can you run us through some of them?
Okay, thank you. Well, the NIN-SIM harmonization project has various socio-economic impacts on Nigeria. As you know, we are moving into a digital economy, so it's important that more and more daily transactions move online. Individuals are protected, so consumer protection is a big win, I believe, from us successfully achieving this process. I mean, consumers will feel safe knowing who they are transacting with online. Children will be safe when they go online. People who do business online, undertake financial transactions, will be safe. Mobile network operators will have some guarantee that where somebody comes to swap the SIM, once they produce the NIN, they know that they are giving the SIM to the right person. So there are various benefits. It will also eventually enable government to plan well. When we have a robust national identity database, we will have various information which NIMC, I'm sure, will be able to share with other government agencies to enable them plan. We will have statistics which can be used. So there are so many benefits.
Why does it take a long time to do a welcome back? A lot of people have been complaining about doing a welcome back pack.
This again is a safety measure. We noticed some activity whereby people were abusing the SIM swap process, so illegal SIM swaps, and that is why, if you go into your mobile network operator and you say, I have lost my SIM, I want to replace a SIM, they need to run checks. Particularly now, since the federal government directive of January, I think February 2020, you must produce your NIN before anybody will swap a SIM for you. And mobile network operators know this. No agent will give you a welcome pack if they have not, first of all, obtained a NIN from you, compared it to the SIM registration record against that SIM number, and had that SIM validated.
That's a process. I wish you could just... Did you hear what you have to say?
Well, I think it's for the benefit of the citizen, and also even the service providers. Like, if I know your interests, then, and also I have your own information, I should be able to build some special services services for you. But as we move into the digital economy, and the internet becomes a seamless exchange of data, because all this data that we are talking about, they are small. The NIN is just 11 digits, and the information between the telcos is at a high speed. Then you'll see that it will be streamlined.
Finally, DJ, what happens if to those who will not, register for NIN, their lives remains bad?
Of course, because you are not known by the government, by the law, by the Act, NIMC Act 2007. There are so many things that you need to, that is mandatory for the NIN. Therefore, government does not know you, but we want to dialogue with the person and understand why you should not do that, so that we can improve on our services too.
Engineer Aliyu Abubakar-Aziz, DG CEO of NIMC, I'd like to thank you very much for
thank you
coming
very
to
much
the edition
for having us.
and to enlighten us. And of course, Barrister Adeleke Adewolu, the Executive Commissioner for NCC for Stakeholders Management. I'd like to appreciate you also for coming to Late Edition this week.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
All right, and that's it on Late Edition this week. I thank you for joining us, and do join us again same time. From me and the production crew, it's bye-bye.